Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Mariana Burrull y estamos en el set de Kinótico en el Festival de Sitges, patrocinado por Repsol en colaboración con la ESCAC. Y hoy recibimos con toda la energía a Emilie Blichfeldt. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Emily, you're presenting here in Sitges The Ugly Stepsister in the official section. It's an amazing movie. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
that. We had a blast. But at the same time, a lot of people have noticed how extremely displeasant this movie is, how extremely physical and disgusting it can be, even more than the substance.
Yeah,
It has been compared to that.
yes, yes.
I think it's more, it's closer maybe. It's aiming to be closer to reality in a way.
Yeah, I would say so, maybe. Yeah.
How important was it for you to be as close to reality as possible in order to talk about, this beauty horror?
Yeah. I'm sorry for the people who puked. No, it is very discomfortable and yucky in some moments. But
In some moments,
yes,
yeah.
I say you are allowed to hide behind your hands, but if you hide and you regret it, I made sure the effect is still there when you look back.
Definitely.
Yeah. But no, I really wanted to make a fairy tale movie where you still believed in the reality of the characters, that they felt human, and that their bodies felt human. You know, in contrast to Disney, which is often this very plasticky, so perfect, no pore in the skin. You know,
Yeah.
they almost look like dolls. I wanted to have bodies that you would actually be scared that they are real and they can be. Damaged, you know. So for the body horror, we used only practical effects, but at the same time, yes, I wanted it to feel real in a way, and all the methods are based on research on real procedures from the past. But we also wanted it to feel like you can actually look, so there's it's also a bit camp, yeah.
Yeah, I think the word for me should be playful.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a playfulness all around the movie, in the camera work, but then again in the art, in the music decisions, in some of the, the dresses maybe.
Yeah, and maybe also in the acting style, it's not naturalistic like kitchen sink, it's all a bit playful and big, yeah.
It's like if you were asking, for reality to laugh about itself in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
How important was it for you to keep this safety distance maybe from, reality itself?
It was really important for me that we were reminded that we were looking at a fairy tale, and somehow the project is also to kind of hack people's relationship to Cinderella.
Yeah.
And to make them see this fairy tale in a different light, and maybe never to see Cinderella the same way again. So I wanted not to have the feeling of a costume drama, but really this fairy tale where everything's a bit larger than life. So this was very important, and also because, as you say, it creates a distance, and I think with humor or with form play like this, the distance also allows audiences to be a part of the story and fill in their own experiences, because it doesn't become too concrete somehow, And there's also a distance where you can apply yourself and your own thoughts and all of that. Yeah.
Definitely, and it's very moving. I wanted to ask you, okay, this is your first feature film. This is from 0 to 100, you know that, right?
I know, it's very ambitious.
All right, it came out really well. But I wanted to ask you, what did you learn in the making of this kind of pink-laced, teacup-ish horror film? What was the biggest challenge in this kind of mixture?
Oh, yeah, what did I not learn?
All right.
No, I was very, very lucky to have a lot of talented people around me that really believed in me and in the vision and in the story. But I think the biggest takeaway is really, to not be afraid to lean in.
Okay.
As a debutante, I had the idea that I would rather go too far than too short somehow and hold back, because that would actually be a bigger letdown than if I went overboard a little bit. And
Wow.
maybe especially with this crazy mixture, to dare to go for it, and as long as it rang true to me, or I found it funny or beautiful or moving, that was what I could go for. Yeah.
Do you have any safety nets, such as references, maybe, or films you could go back to?
I was very inspired by a lot of cinema from the 70s. They're often a bit more bonkers.
Such as?
Such as Uri Hart's Beauty and the Beast. It's a fairy tale movie set in Eastern Europe, and I really wanted to have this Eastern European feeling from the Brothers Grimm,
Yeah.
And also like the erotic films of Valerian Borovchik, like Immoral Tales. And they have like today, because we have the internet and the news spreads so fast, we're very scared of what we put out into the world, also because it could reach a lot of people. But in the 70s, it was not the same. So they could really create images in a much freer, more daring way, maybe. And they were very experimental, and I was very inspired by that. Yeah.
Wow. One who is not afraid, definitely, is Lea Miren, your main character, your main actress, who is amazing, by the way.
Thank you. She's yeah, one of a kind.
But I want to know, how did you convince her to play the role? Because this is not a nice role or maybe a comfy role to play. She gets really mistreated, and she's also the ugly stepsister. So what did you tell her?
Yeah, so the thing with the ugly thing, calling it the ugly stepsister, that actually came later. It was just called the stepsister for a long time. But we decided to call it the ugly stepsister because that's actually the, let's say, the thing people will think she is, or the prejudice they have for her, And we wanted people to challenge or think critically about that title. What is really ugly and what is really beautiful? And when I got the idea of twisting the story, it was because I had suddenly related to the stepsister, which was a shock to me. Because this is a character that I've never before shown an ounce of sympathy. Actually, I've looked down at her, mocked her, ridiculed her. But this was me, because not only do I have shoe size 42.
Me too.
Yeah, right. And I walked with a lot of too small shoes in my life.
Yeah.
But I've also tried to fit in within the beauty ideal and failed, and felt the shame and the sorrow in that. And I had this feeling that I'm not the only one that will relate to the stepsister. Actually, there is only one Cinderella, one ideal. And the rest of us struggling to try to fit her shoe are stepsisters.
Yeah.
So in that sense, anyone that did not fit today's current beauty ideal could play Elvira.
Yeah.
Because what is it really to be ugly and what is it to be beautiful? What we find beautiful today is not what we find beautiful in the 1600s, and therefore it's like an ever evolving thing. There's so many ways to be beautiful. Yeah.
We're all the ugly ducklings.
Exactly. Or maybe we're not, maybe we're all actually beautiful, but there's an industry that earns money in calling itself the beauty industry and selling us beauty products, so we have to buy beauty from them.
Well, darling, you
I
tell
don't think
me. I would definitely like to have Elvira's energy at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of vibe you were aiming for in that moment and how you wanted it to change in the process.
Yeah, so with Lea, it was, she's such a punk. And when she came on set, she just had, or in the audition, she already had all the humor, the vulnerability, because she is very comfortable in her own skin. So she's not kind of controlling herself. She's not afraid of looking weird or all of this. So with her, in the beginning, we thought that she should not be aware of herself. She's just there, in the world and ready to the world is her oyster. And then when people start objectifying her and kind of giving her comments, she becomes more and more aware,
Self-aware
and self-critical. And this also makes her,
overproduced in a way.
yes, and this also makes her, not such a good person, because she becomes, egocentric. Yeah.
And monstrous, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. What was the main reaction you got from the audiences that shook you? Because the film has had a long way to come to Sitges from Sundance and Berlin.
Yeah.
What was the main, surprising reaction you had from people?
Yeah, I definitely didn't think people were actually gonna throw up.
Wow,
But,
that was a thing that happened.
Yes, in Sundance and in Norway. So, but some people have real phobias against worms and stuff. I think that's really what yokes people out. But
And you didn't shy away from worms.
no,
Not precisely.
I'm not scared of worms. Yeah, so it must be that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Talking about Cinderella, Cinderella is very important in Norway when you grow up, and you have talked extensively on the images that grew as a first feature film for you. This image of Elvira cutting her toe. This is absolutely, I mean, gruesome. And I'm thinking about these fairy tales, these children folk tales that have this kind of dripping of gruesomeness in them. I don't know if you think that these images can relate to the people that we are now, like we are today, these cinephiles that we both are here in the Festival de Sitges. Do you think some of that has transcended into what we are today?
Ooh, I think that's a hard question, but I think that folk tales and fairy tales are much more ingrained in our culture than we like to think. I think it's interesting how we're still telling the Cinderella story. We've told it for hundreds of years, and although society has changed so much, we're still telling it the same way without any critical thinking about what is actually the moral that we are, giving to our children.
That's amazing, yeah.
And that's maybe we should start questioning a little bit, the stories we tell. But I think storytelling in itself, and that as a part of the culture, is very much why I'm a filmmaker, and that's the culture I want to take part in. And somehow, fairy tales have always been a subject of rewriting, and the storyteller that tells it this time can put its own spin on it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm just continuing. I'm just taking the baton from the Brothers Grimm and making my twist on it. And maybe someone in the future will take my story and twist it even more.
Wow, I just hope you don't end up doing the horror version of, I don't know, Movie the Pooh, or maybe Bambi or some of that.
No.
Have you seen one of those?
No, it's not for me. It's
not for you.
Me.
Not for me either. Don't worry. Well, thank you so much, Emilie. This has been a very pleasurable interview.
Thank you so much.
People should go and see your film. Y aquí seguimos en el set de Kinótico. Os despedimos con toda la energía también. Un set patrocinado por Repsol, recordamos, en colaboración con la ESCAC desde el Festival de Sitges. Muchas gracias.